This week we will continue the Salem Community Schools Staff Spotlight with one of the athletes and coaches' favorite people, SMS teacher and athletic trainer, Mrs. Mallory Myers. Thank you for meeting with me today.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Finn.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So originally I'm from Columbus, Indiana. I attended Columbus East High School where I graduated in 2014. Pretty active. I played sports all throughout growing up, and then I was a 10-year 4-H member. So kind of active in different areas of life. I attended the University of Indianapolis where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Athletic Training in 2018. And just, I enjoy sports, I enjoy working out, I enjoy just being active, I love to be outside, love the sun, so.
Yes. It's good for you, so might as well. And how did you find yourself in Salem?
So, I actually never knew Salem existed until I got my job here.
Really?
I remember when I applied for my job through Schneck, I got the phone call for my interview, and my now boss asked me if it was going to be okay if she saw that I lived in Columbus, if the job was in Salem, and I told her, I said, never heard of it, so it works for me. We'll just kind of see where things go.
Yeah. And who is your favorite teacher and why?
So that's a hard question because I had a lot of good teachers throughout school. I would have to say they're husband and wife, so I can't leave either of them out. But my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Sollenberger, and then my 8th grade, she's actually my 7th and 8th grade science teacher. And then also my homeroom teacher in 8th grade, Mrs. Sollenberger. But I would say the two of them, just really, really good teachers. They loved teaching. They made teaching or learning fun. And just, you could just tell how much they cared about their students. And I, as a teacher now, I find myself a lot of times implementing some of the things that they did. I catch myself saying some of the things that they used to say, and just have made a very positive impact on my life that I actually still keep in contact with both of them to this day.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who are your role models?
I would say, again, I've had a lot of good people in my life. I would say definitely my grandpa. We called him Wimps, which there's a whole story on how that name came about. But he was just a good man, somebody I try to be like as far as my faith, the way I treat people, the way I try to help people. He's definitely just made a good impact on my life, and again, somebody I try to be like every day.
Right, yeah. And what sports did you play in high school?
So I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. So sports year-round for me.
Right. And what is your favorite thing to play and watch?
Growing up, my favorite thing, I'm going to back up because I always answer this question in 2 ways. Favorite thing to actually play was basketball, but what I was actually good at was softball. As far as watching, I love watching football, but specifically I like college football.
Yeah. And what classes do you teach?
So this year I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade health, but my first 2 years of teaching, I taught 6th and 8th grade health, and then also taught 7th grade agriculture.
Nice. And what have you learned the past couple years of teaching?
I would say if you have a plan, expect that plan to change. You can go in every single day and have an outline of exactly what you want to do, but got to be prepared that at any point that outline's going to be thrown out the window, depending on what's going on in the classroom, what did we remember from the day before. Just, I guess, always be prepared for anything.
Yeah. And what's the best and worst thing about being an athletic trainer?
I would say best thing, well, there's a lot of good things, but ultimately my favorite thing is just the relationships I get to have with my athletes. Being an athletic trainer is a unique healthcare profession because the cool thing is I get to see my patients, so to say, every day, whereas doctors, nurses, physical therapists, they see them maybe once, twice a week for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to actually get to know my athletes, get to spend time with them, get to watch them go from being a freshman all the way to their senior year, and just watching them grow throughout their 4 years of high school.
Yeah.
As far as worst thing, probably documentation. Any injury I have, any rehab, anything that's taken a certain amount of time, more than just a day or two, I have to document. And I don't always necessarily get the time to sit down at a computer and do that every day. So definitely my least favorite thing.
Right. And you have athletes and coaches constantly going in and out of your training room. How do you keep things organized and under control?
So it's probably no secret to any of the athletes or coaches. I'm a very particular person. Everything has a certain place, and if someone comes in and it's not where it goes, they know typically right away. Or if they're touching something that they're not supposed to touch, they know. So as far as like rehab equipment, tape, and all of that, every cabinet is labeled in the training room.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise on where something should be at.
Right.
Athletes know if they get rehab equipment out, it needs to go back into the cabinet. So overall, all of them are pretty good about helping me keep things clean. But they've also, if they aren't keeping things clean, they've probably learned from me at some point.
Yeah.
how
Right.
I keep
they're
things
organized. Right.
Yes.
And what would people be, surprised to figure out about you?
Oh, I think I'm boring, but I would say when I was after my 7th grade year, going to 8th grade year, I actually played basketball, or had the opportunity to play basketball over in Vienna, Austria.
Really?
So that was a 10-day tournament type deal. We didn't play the entire 10 days. We did some like sightseeing and stuff. But we ended up getting 2nd place, so I have a silver medal from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was a pretty cool experience.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. And if money was an issue, where would you vacation at?
Definitely Greece.
Greece?
Yes, just how clear the water is, the history there. It's just, I look at pictures at it every once in a while.
It's quite a beautiful place.
It is.
And anything else you would like to add?
Not really. I just thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Oh, of course. Again, thank you, Miss Myers, for sitting down with me and Lion Nation. This has been Finn Kreitzer with SLNN and The Salem Show. Now back to the show.